Welcome to Way to Grow. Today we're hedging all bets. Actually, no, we're talking about hedges and how you can get a nice hedge in your garden to give it some shape and definition. And right behind us we have a Cotoneaster, or as Dwayne said, commonly mispronounced as Cotoneaster, but it's Cotoneaster. And Dwayne, what do we need to do in order to maintain our shrubs and keep them in the right size?
Yeah, well, we've got a great example of well-maintained hedges here, and we're not talking about windbreaks now, we're just talking about the decorative hedges, very formal here. Yeah, and the Cotoneaster here is a great example of the very formal style hedge. They're going right through the yard here, and look at how thick it is. I've got the hedge clipper sitting right on top of here. That's how thick and well branched it is, and to achieve that, we're starting from year one of planting. That pruning takes place in it, and by pruning, it's we're now at this point with the hedge clipper, but just even with your snips, just going and cutting off the tops and the sides, encouraging the branching to be extremely thick. And if you pull this back in here, you can see how well branched it is in there, providing that that foundation for this very thick growth that happens on there. And you have to keep pruning it. Now, you're not going to let your hedge grow this high first and then start pruning it. You're starting to prune all the way up, and you're pruning tops and sides. And once you get it to this point, you can see how well manicured you can keep it looking. And the Cotoneasters lend themselves to that kind of pruning just great on there. And the foliage is nice dark green. The smaller leaves give it that nice texture, nice and full. So, and you can maintain it any size. Maybe in some of the shots from previous shows, you probably saw some Cotoneasters that were kept this high. These are here, those are a little bit higher. You can have them 6 feet high. It's a very adaptable plant for using as a hedge. So works great for that. And at this point here, this type of hedge clipper works great. Keeps your lines nice and straight, makes it cutting a whole lot easier, and you can shape it up as best you can. So I got this guy out here.
Pretty disease resistant as well, eh?
Well, yes and no. It is prone to getting aphids, like a lot of plants do, but if you're constantly doing your pruning, that you're taking a lot of that problem away before it even becomes one. You're just simply removing the aphids when you do your pruning. But keep an eye out on it for sure. Fire blight can be an issue. It's the same disease that attacks the apple trees, can affect the Cotoneasters as well, and you got to take severe action when that happens. Best just to pull that plant out or do some drastic pruning to get the infected areas out. But otherwise, the flower or the leaf color now nice dark green and glossy. In fall, bright red. Gives you a great show in the fall.
Okay. Now you have some other
yeah, I have some other
hedges
ones here. Yeah, and here I've just got the Cotoneaster here again, just to show you. This is what you could start off with this size as your starter plant, but you know, all this growth that comes out here, you know, you'd be cutting it all back here, you know, reducing it in size quite severely, encouraging that branching to happen on it. Now, as I said, Cotoneaster can be from an 18-inch high hedge, it can be 6 feet high, very adaptable on that, so it's great to use for that. The next plant here, Alpine Currant, much smaller plant altogether. This would be a plant if you wanted to do a hedge 3 feet or less. Would work ideal for that. That's where its growth is going to be the best, and it can actually tolerate a little bit more shaded situations. And again, this plant here, you can see it's nicely branched, but you know, you take that and just start cutting away, encouraging more branching, starting from year one, and just encouraging that that pruning on it and the branching on it, develop that shape on it. And again, this would be for something, if you had a little bit more lower hedge that you wanted to have, the Alpine Currant can work great for that.
Now this, I recognize this plant, this would be the Lilac, and it's not 100% suited for pruning back, obviously.
No, and I've got two types of Lilac here. This is this will be the French Lilac. This is Maiden's Blush. And then I've got the later flowering. Now this would be the one that you're kind of used to, the heart-shaped leaves on it. This is what Grandma would have in their yard, and gives you the great fragrance on it, lots of flower colors on it, great fragrance. And they will be used as hedge plants, and same with this one, they will be used, but it's going to be more informal. You'll never see lilac hedges looking like this because you're going to cut the flowers off. You still want to use the flowers. So if you want a more informal type of hedge, larger hedge growing in your yard, lilacs lend themselves well to that. And they require they'll require is after flowering is when you do your pruning, because they flower on last year's growth. So just one pruning a year, and you won't inhibit the flowering on them. More informal approach. Now, one thing I should point out, this variety here, this is going to be a minuet lilac, nice pink, but it's the late flowering Preston series lilac. They don't sucker, meaning they don't send out shoots from the bottom, so where you plant them, that's where they stay.
That's kind of nice.
That's kind of nice. This one here will. These, when you get these shaped leaves on it, the early flowering varieties, they will send out shoots. So gradually you can see that hedge growing a little bit wider and wider. So if you got the room to accommodate that, fine, but just to know that that can be an issue there. But you get the fragrance with these and a lot more color choice than with these.
Okay.
Now the last one I have here, Amur Maple. This again will be something that's going to be a larger hedge. This one you can keep a bit more formally pruned, but it's going to be in a larger plant altogether. Okay. So you can choose how you want to do that, several prunings a year on that. One of the things that make Amur Maple outstanding as a hedge plant is its fall color. I said
it's
the Cotoneaster.
Like that bright orange and red.
Yeah, Cotoneaster gives you great red. I think this is even a better red. It grows outstanding with the color on it, and it'll just be something that will be larger. So you're going to have more room to accommodate a hedge with Amur Maple on it. But the fall colors are just outstanding on it to use.
Well, there you go. So we're hedging all bets, as I mentioned earlier, and that's really bad. I'm sorry. We'll try that one more time. But if you want any more information on hedges, just come and see these guys here. Lacoste Garden Center, Dwayne Friesen and his staff will help you out. They're located at 2787 St. Mary's Road. And if you want more information at your fingertips, your website.
If you want more information about your hedges, I bet you can get more information at our website, lacostegardencenter.ca.